Hey everybody, this is Dr. Ben Manning here. I've been getting a lot of requests lately on my Python data science development environment. What do I use, tools, and that sort of stuff. So I thought I'd throw together a quick video showing you sort of the bare bones of how I do most of my data science development on-prem with Anaconda. So this is going to be quick. Hopefully it'll be easy for you. If you've got any questions whatsoever, stick them in the comments and I'll happily answer them to the best of my ability. So Anaconda is a great data science and data analytics platform that has most of the tools that you need, including Python, by the way, wrapped up into one nice sort of server type package where you can access almost everything that you need pretty much on the fly. You can install your data science development environment this way, or if you want to just do it manually, what I call sort of manually, you can install one tool at a time where you can actually go out and install Python on your machine, then install the individual packages that you'll need. You'll install the individual IDEs of your choice, whatever you want as far as a development environment. I like to stick with Anaconda because everything is downloaded at one time. It's all sitting. Everything that you need is pretty much sitting on your machine, and then what I do is just make small virtual environments for each of my projects, unless I'm working on something a lot larger and I jump into an IDE, of which I already have one already installed and at the ready in Anaconda as well. So I'm just going to show you how to spool up a quick virtual environment with Anaconda and set it up for data science, for just a basic data science project, nothing like with deep learning or anything like that, although it's very similar, and show you how to get that up and running pretty quick, and one instance of Jupyter Notebook as well with your custom kernel for your virtual environment already in it. So in order to do this, you're going to need to download Anaconda. So you can just go to anaconda.com, go here to products, grab an Anaconda distribution. You can download it here, install it on your machine. I'm going to use the Python 3.7 version just because anything earlier than your 2.7 is starting to get a little bit out of date. Once you install this, whether you're on a Windows machine or you're on a Mac, it's going to install two different things. In your start menu, you can look for an Anaconda folder, and inside that folder there will be an icon for Anaconda Navigator. There'll also be a second icon for Anaconda Prompt, as well as some others. I'm going to be working with Anaconda Prompt. Same thing for Finder on your Mac. You'll be working out of Anaconda Prompt for this. So when you go to Anaconda Prompt and open it up, it is exactly what it sounds like. It's an actual command prompt that is layered over the top of Anaconda. So now anytime I want to do anything in Anaconda, I can do it right here in the prompt, and I'm accessing all of the parts and pieces from within Anaconda. Now you heard me refer to an icon also called Navigator. If you want to start Anaconda and access everything graphically instead of doing it this way, you can do that with Navigator. It is quite heavy as far as memory intensive, and it does stay open the entire time you're using it. So that's why I tend to use Anaconda Prompt, because I'm going to be setting up some small virtual environments to do this, and it just works a lot faster to do this. So one other thing that you're going to need while you're doing this, especially as sort of a new person, hop on Google and look for one of 1,000, it seems like, Conda user cheat sheets. The word Conda, C-O-N-D-A, is just short for the Anaconda packaging system. If you're familiar with Python, you're familiar with the Python installer or pip. There's a slightly different Python package managing system for Anaconda called Conda. And since we're going to be using everything from the Anaconda prompt, a cheat sheet on how to set up a virtual environment, install packages, and that sort of stuff is not a bad thing to have. And you can, like I said, just hit Google, type in Conda user cheat sheet. This one's directly from Continuing Analytics. It's probably the first one that'll come up. So that one's useful as well. And again, you can find most of this stuff at the command prompt itself. Last but not least, you want to hit Google and look for Conda packages. These are all the different packages that are already within Conda. Anaconda itself. I'm looking at the packages specifically for 64-bit Windows with Python 3.7 because that's the environment I'm going to be using. You can search for these when you're in Anaconda prompt if you don't know the exact name of some of these, and we might do that during the course of this. But those are the three things that you'll need after you get Anaconda installed. Go ahead and find and click on the Anaconda prompt. And the first thing we're actually going to do is set up a small virtual environment. And you can see the word base right here to the left of your actual, in this case, your directory name. What that's telling you is you are in the base environment for Anaconda. And I don't want to be in that environment. That will give me access to basically everything that is sitting here, but in the environment, and that's a good thing, but what I don't want is to install multiple things into this environment and then need them elsewhere, or maybe older versions or newer versions of different things that are going to conflict with each other. So building small virtual environments sets up small silos for each one of your projects and keeps them separate in many instances. So your work life cycles don't sort of intersect with each other. So in order to do this, it's really easy with Conda. I can just type Conda create and then -n or --name, if you will. I'm going to call this test 2 because I already have a test 1 in there. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and set up Python 3.7 to do this. Now, you can even go ahead and put in all your external packages if you want to at this point, but I don't want to do that just yet. I want to show you kind of how this works. You can see what it's doing is it's setting up, telling me these following packages will be installed just because I'm setting up a virtual environment and because these are the ones that are sort of out of the box with Python 3.7. You see pip is even in there too. You can use pip and Conda at the same time. You've got setup tools, VC, wheel for different cross-platform packages and things of this nature. It's just asking you, do you want to proceed? Tell it yes. It's going to do its thing. It'll take maybe 20 or 30 seconds to pop these in there, and you'll be ready to roll. Now, the next thing you need to do, and Conda tells you this, is you actually have to activate this virtual environment. I'm still in the base, and you can see that. So now, in order to do this, all I do is say Conda, I type in Conda activate test 2. And you notice now my prompt changes over to test 2. Let's see if, I've never actually tried this, if I can get a list of just the packages within test 2. Okay, so good. So it's basically got those packages that it's already installed and then certify and win search store. So now I can dive into pulling in my packages that I'm going to need for data science. Now, in a lot of instances, if you're going to use pip and you're going to install these directly from their either a GitHub repo or directly from an HTTP source, you're going to have to know the name or the URL for that. Here, since I'm using Conda as the package manager, I'm actually pulling these directly from the repo that Conda maintains. So in some instances, I might not know what a package is called. So let's see if I can find Conda search scikit. See if it'll actually look for it for me. So it says package not found there. The following packages are not available from the current channels, and it's looking for all of them. You say, well, heck, I'm not sure what I've done wrong. So now I'm going to dive out here into the packages list, and I'm going to go see what the name of the package for Scikit-Learn is. And as you know, anybody that's ever done anything with Scikit-Learn before, Scikit-Learn's got almost everything you need in it, including SciPy and some of those others. You don't have to really install all that stuff again. So there it is. The name of it is actually Scikit. There's no dash in it, -learn. So if I go here, let's just, for giggles, see if it finds Scikit. Okay, so see there, the dash is what it was having problems with. So you see there's all these different packages within the Conda repo that you can go out and install. So I want to install Scikit-Learn. While I'm at it, and I actually know that these are called this, I'm going to go ahead and install NumPy. I'm going to go ahead and install Pandas. I'm going to go ahead and install Matplotlib. I'm going to go ahead and install Seaborn, because I really like to use Seaborn along with Matplotlib. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and install the IPython or IPyKernel. In addition to, while I'm at it, go ahead and install Jupyter for Jupyter Notebooks. And this last one, I'm going to purposely misspell this, IPyKernel. This is, the IPyKernel package is going to let me put a custom kernel inside, or load a custom kernel inside of Jupyter Notebook. So when I go to actually create my own notebook, it's using this virtual environment for that. I'm going to purposely misspell it to show you what happens if one of these packages is misspelled. It actually tries to install them, but then it says, oh look, you've got two packages that I can't find, IPyKernel and Matplotlib. Yeah, turns out I misspelled that one too. So all I'm going to do here, go back, that one's right, Matplotlib. I should be ready to go. If everything's done, it'll start solving the environment. It'll do the same thing it did prior when it was trying to set up everything it needed for Python. Look, this time though, it's setting up the ones that I've asked it to and every dependency for those. So that's fantastic, right? And remember, all this is going into this small virtual environment called test2. So I'm going to pause the video for just a second, because this can take a few minutes, and I don't want to waste your time just sitting there watching a blurry screen. So I'll start the video back over in just a second when all of these are done. Okay, welcome back. So all of the packages that I wanted to have installed into my test2 virtual environment have been installed. It didn't take nearly as long as what I thought it was going to. And if I want to go ahead and start Jupyter Notebook, now I can. And I'm doing this on purpose in a certain order so I can kind of show you what's going on here. Here is Jupyter Notebook. Drag it over from my other monitor. Now you can see I've got, you know, my various files there. Everything looks just fine. But if I go here to start a new notebook, I've got Python 3. I've got this TensorFlow one. That's another environment that I have. I've got Test1. That's another environment. These are all environments that I have. But test2 doesn't show up here. And test2 is the one that I just started that has all of the things in it that I need. I could go here and I could just start a brand new Python one, right? But what if I need, let's see, let's import NumPy. I don't think NumPy is in this one. In that particular case it is. Let's do, okay, so you see there's no model sklearn, even if I did spell it right. There's no model sklearn, right? So I don't have to worry about this particular one. What I really want to happen here is I want the model, I want my kernel with all of the packages that I've just installed in test2 to show up here. So I can develop inside of Jupyter Notebook, inside the actual kernel that I've just set up. So I'm going to close Jupyter Notebook. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to stop Jupyter Notebook from running. And remember, I installed IPyKernel when I actually installed the packages. Well, I did that for a reason, because now I can go back and I can use IPyKernel to actually install that same kernel, this test2, as a kernel inside of Jupyter Notebook. So when I'm in Jupyter Notebook, rather than just starting a random Python notebook that might not have everything that I need in it, I want to access all the packages that I just installed in test2. And anytime I'm working in test2, I want to be able to access that particular environment from within Jupyter Notebook. So if I make any changes to test2, it's all relevant right there in Jupyter Notebook. So the way I do this and make it relevant and make it show up there in Jupyter Notebook is I just type IPython kernel, and I'm installing this for any user, and I'm going to call it test2. This is the name that it'll actually show up in Jupyter Notebook. So yeah, it always helps when you spell kernel right. Okay, so now that's installed as needed in test2. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to deactivate this kernel. Okay, and when I activate it again, I'm back in test2. Now I start my notebook over again. Now test2 is here. So let's say import matplotlib as plt. Matplotlib isn't normally there. And you know, I installed it, and it's there. Here's try Seaborn. Right. So all the packages that you have that you've installed inside your kernel are already there in Jupyter Notebook because you have them. You've installed them there, and you've got test2 readily available. So now anything that you do inside Jupyter Notebook for data science will stay right within that test2 kernel. Will stay right within that test2 virtual environment, and you got everything that you need to at least get yourself up and running and get started with data science inside of Jupyter Notebook. Now you can do all sorts of cool things with this. You know, you've got a virtual environment now. You can move that around. You can do pretty much anything you want to with it as far as portability is concerned, and everything is concise and stays inside that virtual environment. So it's really, really neat for portability down the road. So if you got any questions on this, or you run into any issues on how it's done, or I did something not as efficient as it could have been, please do let me know in the comments. You know, I'm a lifelong learner, as well as most of you are, and don't consider myself an expert in just about anything. So please let me know if you see a better way to do this, or if you've got additional comments that you think would help other students out there. Please do stick them in the comments. And if you found this useful, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be adding a lot more videos here soon. I'd love to hear your feedback and grow together with you in this awesome industry out here that we know as data science. Thanks everyone, and have a great day.